Hi everybody. This evening I'm going to show you how to build your bag for your oysters. So you have a mesh sleeve and the holes are the size, the mesh is the size that you want, and it comes in a number of different sizes measured in millimeters. The sleeve is open on both ends right now, and your goal is to be able to make it so it's closed, and that way predators can't get in and get your oysters. You do want to have one side of it where the flaps are such that you can open and close it when you need to, and the other side will be permanently closed with these hognose rings. So what I'm going to do first is you'll notice that there's already a crease on either side of the bag, and you can use that to your advantage. You're going to use that as one edge of your bag, and then you want to decide about how deep your bag should be and count that many squares over and make a new crease that you're going to end up cutting part way to make the flaps. So with this bag, I think I want about 8 squares. So here's the edge of the crease, and I'm going to go ahead and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares over, and then it's pretty bendable. You just need to take your hands and make a second crease following that line right down the bag, and that way you'll know where to cut at the top, and also your bag will start to take the right form as you go. So I'm gonna open this bag up a little bit more when it gets closed and continue to crease down that line. No, I'm not standing in the camera. There we go. I'm going to continue to crease right down this line. Let's see. If it works well, you know, you can use a table or a wall or anything like that to kind of brace yourself up. I'm going to continue, and it'll hold its form pretty well once you have done the initial crease there. So now I've got a short side to my box. It's beginning to shape up a little bit. Now I'm going to take the other crease that's already pre-made, and I'm going to count over 8 squares as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, right here. And I'm going to follow that line of mesh right down and make the other side of the box, or the other edge, I should say. And again, you're just pinching it. If you feel like you need to kneel on it, you can, but it should start to take form, and especially if you kind of pop the big sides out and just crease it with your fingers. And you can kind of mold it to whatever shape you need it to be. And pretty soon you'll have a square box instead of a flat envelope. So here we go. There's my box. It could use a little straightening, but it's not too bad. There we go. So now I have an open-ended box there, and it's nice. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife, and in order to make the flaps, I'm going to cut down a little ways for each of these creases, and I'm going to cut down probably actually about 8 here as well, I think. 1, 2, well, almost six is actually, 6 will probably do it there. It really depends on the size of the mesh and I'm just kind of eyeing it. So I'm going to cut down 6 on each side, right on the edge, right along where the crease is, to make these flaps. There we go. It doesn't really matter how you do it, in the sense that it doesn't matter exactly which side of the mesh you're cutting on. There's room for experimentation and artistry here. Okay, so I've got now one side. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna fold my short end flaps down. I don't know if you can see that in the video. I'm just folding these down a little bit. And then I'm gonna fold the long sides over the short sides. And really what I want to do is make it so that this box is not something that the predators like a green crab could penetrate. So this will be the side that is going to be permanently closed on this bag. There will not be any opening this, I don't think, at least not on purpose. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to recrease it a little bit down here on the end. It needs a little bit of, make it a little bit more of a box on the short side there. I've got these open rings. These are hognose rings and special pliers, in which you, if you haven't used these before, you set the rings, the open ring right inside. The pliers have a well on each side that you can set this into. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my best to capture as many layers of that of those flaps as possible, so that I'm sealing it up. And you know, you can put as many rings as you need to onto this, and this is what it should look like when you get it together there. So that's just with one hognose ring, and it's over I think it's into 3 layers of that mesh. So I'm going to go ahead and put a bunch more of these rings onto this end, and hopefully capture as many layers of this mesh as I reasonably can. You can always double up. You can get more rings. There's plenty of them. Often I drop a few in the grass. That happens. So in this case, I'm putting them every couple inches, 2 or 3 inches. There's no flap that can, there's no edge that the critters can climb into. It's closed down pretty tightly. And I'm going to do some extra on each short end, just to make sure that those are completely sealed up and there's no getting under the flaps. I'll show you what it looks like. So I've done 5 across this side, the short end, well, it's actually the long side of the short end. And then I'll put a couple extras right here on the short sides. But again, you know, you can eyeball it. They each will turn out slightly differently depending on how you cut it and how much overlap there is and so forth. But that's all sealed now. There's nothing that's going to get inside there too easily. So now that side of the box is done, the bag. And I guess I'm not sure whether to call it a box or a bag. But at any rate, this one does want a little more working to kind of get it the right shape. But I'm going to go ahead and cut. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to make this other end of the bag that you'll be able to open and close to be able to tend your oysters. So really it's the same idea as the other side. You're going to cut down your creases. Once you have the slits cut, you've got flaps ready to seal up the bag. You can take your pins and go ahead and stitch that bag shut with 3 or 4 pins, just catching as many flaps as you can so that it's fully closed and the predators like green crabs can't get into your bag. And then you're all set.